Now, you might have missed it, but Apple had an event this week that included a host of updated hardware and software offerings. It was an iPad-focused event, so you can kind of imagine what we were served up. Things like a new iPad Air, now with an M2 chip, now in 2 sizes. They are super slick. I've always really adored the iPad Air. Not exactly cheap, but overall a great upgrade. Then there was the new Apple Pencil. Yes, there is now an Apple Pencil Pro, which seems excessive to me for an add-on, but hey, what do I know? I'm not worth several $1 trillion. There were also updated keyboards for the iPad line, thanks to a revamped so-called Magic Keyboard. And then there was the thing that I think was the big deal from the show. Updated iPads Pro. They are now thinner and better, which I'm sure you didn't see coming 8 miles away. They have new features including a new visual experience with an OLED display in 2 panels called a tandem OLED. They've jumped from M2 to M4 chips, and frankly, they look absolutely fantastic. But here's the thing. So the 11-inch iPad Pro will start at $999 for the Wi-Fi model. If you go to the 13-inch iPad Pros, they start at $1299 or $1499 for the Wi-Fi plus cellular base model. Now, am I insane? Or does the iPad Pro cost as much for the good versions as I probably expect to spend on a laptop? Laptops that run desktop software that is so much better and less restrictive than a mobile OS. I think the answer to that is yes. So that begs the question we started off with. What are we doing here? iPads appear to be so powerful and fast now and expensive that they are fighting for oxygen with the MacBook Pro line. So to put this in kind of like example terms, would you rather have a new 11-inch iPad Pro with Wi-Fi or a new MacBook Air? I think that Apple understands that it's at the point where its more powerful tablets are challenging its basic tier laptops in price terms. So what it has to do is make sure that these iPads that it is selling do a lot, that they're not just passive consumption devices that, frankly, they're often known for. At that point, the prices just make no sense. Now, I do recall that at the last TechCrunch event we held in Boston, that someone actually had an iPad out and was using it instead of the usual TechCrunch given out MacBook Pro. I was shocked, but it was just one person on staff. Apple wants that to be more common, and it's stressing the possibility of the iPad Pro to do a lot more. And one way that it's doing that is by updating Final Cut Pro, which got a new feature at the event called Multicam. You can kind of imagine what that does, and frankly, it looked pretty cool. But was it cool enough for me to want an iPad over a real computer? No, especially when the new iPad keyboards cost $300 by themselves. Look, I am sure that these new iPads are for someone. But I own an iPad Pro today, along with a whole mess of computers, including a MacBook Pro and an iMac, not to mention a gaming PC, a couple of consoles, and I just don't use the iPad very often. So call me a Mac fanboy if you will, but iPad just ain't an Apple laptop despite what its price says. More tomorrow.